Okay, everybody, so we are going to have a kind of unique training session here today. Today, we're going to be talking about doing some horse training. But first, I want to share a story with you about an amazing experience that I just had last week, where I got to actually spend time being a trainer at a dolphin facility in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And it was a fabulous experience for me because it helped to remind me about how I can do positive reinforcement training even better. So you get to benefit today by appreciating and hearing about some of the things that we learned at this facility. Again, this is the Dolphin Adventure facility down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and they have lots of dolphins there and do lots of dolphin interactions. It's an excellent facility. I know that some of you don't believe in keeping marine mammals in captivity, but I would just say, as I've said before, that if you have concerns about that, just make sure it's a facility that belongs to the Alliance of Marine Mammal Parks and Aquariums. I was the liaison for that organization for 3 years to the AVMA, the American Veterinary Medical Association, so I can speak very highly personally about that organization and what it takes to belong to that organization. So please don't go and spend money at dolphin facilities that aren't members of the Alliance, because if they are members of the Alliance, there's very high standards that they have to adhere to, including like the decibel systems that the dolphins are subjected to, besides their food and training schedules and how they're handled and all those kinds of things that are just super important about taking great care of dolphins in captivity, just like you're taking care of any animal in captivity. Any animal that doesn't have a choice on where it can go feed itself is in captivity. So whether that's a horse or a dog or a cat or a bird or a pet rat or guinea pig, they're all in captivity. So it's our responsibility to do a great job taking super good care of them since they don't have any choice in the matter. But let's go ahead and get started. One of the main things that we noted, first of all, they would always work with the dolphins in pairs. And so I thought that that was really super interesting. We have obviously a lot of contestants right now, or contenders, that are showing interest in wanting to hang out and possibly get trained. So I'm ready with some treats here. I'm working in what we call protected contact right now, because we have a lot of horses that are interested and it's only me out here. So this is a way you can keep yourself safe. So that's one of the questions people will ask me is, well, I can't do positive reinforcement because I'm by myself all the time. I don't have anybody to help me lead the horse around. Well, you don't need that. It just might go a little bit slower than it would if you had more people. But the principles are all going to be exactly the same. And so if you have any hesitations whatsoever or physical limitations, if you are unsteady on your feet, if we're talking about trying to interact with small children, anything like that, perhaps somebody that is in a wheelchair or needs some other assistance, the answer to all of that is working in what we call protected contact, just like they do at the dolphins. Right, they are most of the time working with them from the side of the pool, not down in the water, and it helps keep the trainer safe. And also, it's a great test of the animal's ability to really show if they really want to be around you or not, because obviously there's no food here or a lot of motivation for them to be hanging out, but they know a training session is coming and they want to get started, so let's go ahead and get started. So the last couple of days, I've been mostly working with Oliver. He has been showing the most interest in wanting to train and interact. So you notice he's been a little bit sleepy right now. He's not turning all the way over here looking at me, so that's for sure. And then, I don't know if you can see in the background or not, but Caesar is starting to make his unusual mouth movements that he does, and those are things that we don't really want to encourage too much. So we're just going to give him a moment to think about trying to maybe do something else. Oh, let's see. There you go. Now you can see him. Oh, thank you for saying they like our horses and our horse riding. And I brave and do a good job. Well, thank you for that. And so, yeah, so a couple of questions about who we are, what we are. I'll answer those really quick for some of the folks that are on the live right now. So I'm Dr. Gina Queston. I'm a veterinarian and I'm also a professional animal trainer, technically a dolphin trainer, because I'm an aquatic veterinarian. But all of these are rescue horses, most of them from all kinds of different situations, some wild mustangs, some horses off the track. Well, this horse would have been a racing horse. If he didn't come here, this horse, who you may or may not be able to see, was a racing horse, and she raced for 51 times, which is absolutely astonishing over several years. And so if we didn't have her, she'd be off in the field somewhere having babies, but we like her here, safer. And then this horse over here is actually a wild Mustang that was captured and brought into a holding pen, and then we got him through part of an auction. And there are stories about all of them are on our website, ResqRanch.org. And so I definitely encourage you to check any of that out. and certainly ask questions about anything that you might have that's animal related. That doesn't matter to me if it's dogs or cats, or we just rescued a couple of lovebirds, so we have them. So any kind of animal. So first of all, let's go back to see who might want to interact. And so Oliver's very gently nickering at me. There to be fun. Oh, there he is. Boy. Okay, so good boy. So we're going to start with some easy targeting. Sometimes people don't understand why we do targeting with animals, but it's because it's just a stepping stone. It's just a kind of communication. Once they know to follow the target, you can do all kinds of things with them, like lead them around, which I might be able to show you here currently. Get them to say yes, or get them to say no, or all kinds of fun things like that that you can do once you have that communication piece between you and the animal about following the target. Okay, so we have another willing participant right here. Boy, good boy. So I'm going to click him. These guys are all clicker trained. Give him a little treat. So what I'm using are just little bits of carrot. Don't know if you can see that or not, but I took the time to cut up some carrots into small pieces before coming out here. So always got to be really careful when you're feeding anything. Make sure you use a nice flat hand. Of course, this guy's going to get kind of excited, and you don't want to accidentally get it. So it looks like Oliver's like, please, come on, let's do something else. And we can, and I'll see if we can get him to do some of his other behaviors. Okay, perfect. So he is trying to offer a behavior that we call hoof lift. So when you're working with horses, one of the things that you're going to need to do with them a lot is pick up their feet and clean them out, clean out their hooves. So that's an important behavior for horses to learn. So we are working with our horses to teach them to pick up their feet just from a command. And that is, I think, what he's practicing after he's offering that up. Okay, so if you'll notice, I asked him a couple of times, and then not only did he not do it, but he also turned his face away. It's very clearly communicating a no, and so I'm going to respect that and back away and work with a different horse. Okay, so this is a little young Mustang filly that we adopted last April. So she's been here less than a year. And she's very eager to learn. Now, she doesn't know as many behaviors as some of the others, but that's what we're getting for there. Our donkey wants some attention as well. So I just gave him a little pet because his head was nice and down below the line. And if you don't know what that is one of the things that I teach in my horse training masterclass. So if you're interested in learning about how to train horses, the horse training masterclass is definitely something that I would recommend you check out. So now I'm going to go back to the donkey because I'm getting two hives from him. Oh, so that's how I decided which animal I was going to reward or give the opportunity to earn a reward, as the case may be. In this case, so one of the things that you'll often hear in horse training is you want to always have horses' two eyes. And I think that's not a bad thing to incorporate into your training, because if horses are looking at you with both eyes, then they're much less likely to be watching something scary off in the distance and be distracted, and actually you can be more certain that you have their full attention. So notice I don't have Chili's two eyes. And the donkey, I tried to give him a reward, but he walked away because he was getting harassed. So we have these two over here, so I'm going to go back to them. So that's one of the things with positive reinforcement training is you want to break it up into little increments. We humans tend to get really fixated. Today I am going to do all these things. I'm going to saddle and bridle and groom and pick feet and go on a trail ride with my neighbor down the street and around the corner by the railroad tracks and come back. And we should be able to have all that done by like 4 o'clock. So we have these really specific outlines and ideas of what we want to accomplish with our horses. And it would behoove all of us to just take a little bit of a breather. Yes, you can potentially have that as a goal But you should also be prepared for how to respond if that doesn't happen, if you run into roadblocks, right? Because it's not a life or death situation that your horse goes on this trail ride. But it is a life or death situation that you preserve your relationship with your horse. And so maybe you don't go ride that day and you just put your ego aside, and people may look at you funny and say, well, gosh, what kind of a horse person are you if you can't even get on your trained horse and go riding down across the railroad tracks today? It doesn't really matter. What matters is what's going on with this animal to lift his upper lip so we can look at his teeth. And remember, for those of you who do know anything about this, if this front, you're always down slow. So even though it was working on a behavior with him where his head was really high, we're not rewarding him behavior. We're not going to reward him with this kind of comment. We don't do that. We only reward with the temper. We even look at this here. And I wanted to go ahead and take advantage. Stay near right here. So even though, and so that's great. So we have another horse. So let's take a look around and see who else we have that might want to train with us. We have Blaze right here, who we just rewarded. And Natalia being a little baby pest bothering her. Chili was there. And then we have Rowan and Oliver and Caesar. So I'm going to leave it here for just a moment. Perfect. And so Caesar is playing with the chains and really wanting to get some attention. Yeah. So we're going to work with him just a little bit. Giving us quite a bit of sort of energy. But now, because he is being blocked by Oliver. So I have to take that into consideration, right? So you have to be very careful here because you don't want to reward Oliver for having bad bullying behavior. Because you do want everybody to be able to have access to each other and be nice and relaxed. His body language better now. He's putting his mouth to the bars. So I like his body position. And offer only Caesar the opportunity to get stuck. Because Oliver was trying to manipulate the situation just a little bit, if you could notice that. So I certainly don't want to encourage you. Perfect. I like and I like that he didn't go back and bully Caesar again, which he could have done. And so I really want to take a moment to appreciate and thank him for agreeing to stand. Okay, so it's pretty interesting because this whole time, both of these boys really want to do something really fast. So this is how you know you're ready to take this horse to the next level. If we were going to go riding, at this point, the only two horses we would even think about riding would be these two, because of the way that they have demonstrated their willingness to want to hang out with us. And I just wanted to show you, here's our little donkey, and I gave him a little carrot piece because I did click him earlier, and he was chased off before he could get his treat. And so they will remember that kind of thing. So you always want to make sure that you're being fair. And so here we're going to go back and show you these guys. All right, so look, the black mare, we finally have two eyes. Yes. So now I can see if she wants to interact. And this time I'm just going to have a little piece of carrot in my hand to begin with so that I can reward them a little bit faster. But again, these guys, they understand this game. They're all been trained in it for quite a while, so it's not difficult for them. And I'm going to actually turn my back very purposefully this way, and because Caesar is making those strange rock movements that I really don't want to encourage him to upload those on his own. So somebody on this video says that the best breed of horse is an Arabian, and I think everybody thinks their favorite breed is the best breed of horse. We do have an Arabian, but she is quite low on the quote-unquote totem pole, so we don't have her here to show you what that looks like. So I'm just taking a moment to just wait for all the horses to settle, because if you'll notice, everybody is still really super interested in something off in the distance. I don't know what that is, but I do know that I need to wait. Good boy, Oliver, good boy, until they all show an interest more in me than whenever is scary over there. So the only one who doesn't seem too bothered is Caesar over here, so let's see what we can do with him. We can do a lot with him. Notice how he came up to me with a lot of energy. I love that, right? I like when he have good energy and want to be with me. Earlier it was a little bit tough for him because Oliver was real crowded and making him nervous. Good. So we gotta head up, we gotta head down. It's adjustment. As Oliver is what we've got, who says, oh, well, I didn't realize there was going to be like actual training sessions still happening while I was off spooking at some imaginary who knows what over there. And then as Caesar, we get more attention. And so that's okay. So now we have to change up our interactions though. Like we said, we do like this PowerPoint, which I think is a really important next step. But since we have both of them, and we have two eyes for this, we can teach them something called stage. Right? Okay. And just stay right here. All right. Oh. Oh. So I liked that, and so that's something that we can then work on for duration, is a little bit longer period of time to get them to both just stand still, just basically with a hand command like that. And then Caesar's because his head was down and he stayed nice and relaxed, whereas Oliver continued to head out a little. So Oliver ended up getting reward regardless, which is good because this is a new behavior. The station with the flat hand is a new behavior that I'm teaching them based on my experience this past week at the Dolphin Adventure Center in Fort Vallarta, Mexico. And I was lucky enough to get to spend an entire day there. We found the very best dolphin trainers in the whole world. In fact, the head of the dolphin trainers there just won an award last April in 2024 for having the best presentation at the International Conference in which is a very significant accomplishment when you think about all the best marine mammal trainers and dolphin trainers, tiger trainers, and everybody all around the world is putting in presentations into this organization and vying to be considered the best one, and they were the best one. So we are very, very lucky that we got to spend a day there and learning directly with them. And so we learned some things there to help us refine and we're doing with the courses here. So what I don't love about this is everybody is like half asleep, right? This is very, very slow interactions, right? Nobody is really operating anything that's super high energy. Everybody is just sort of lackadaisically doing this or doing that. So it has to do with the time of day, when they've last eaten, things like that nature. But I think that it's time to change it up dramatically and work on something totally different, like maybe bring Oliver and Caesar in here and maybe work on riding or something like that. So that's going to be much harder to film and video if I'm here by myself. And so I think at this point, we'll just go ahead and wrap up today's training session so that you got to kind of see a little bit about what it looks like when you transfer dolphin training techniques to horse training techniques. And then that's how you can be sure that your horse is ready to ride. So this horse here clearly is ready to ride. This one is also probably ready to ride. And this one maybe, but maybe also not so much. Notice how she's not really giving me the two eyes. She's giving me one, but this guy here and this guy here have consistently this whole 20 minutes or so that we've been out here showed a super interest in wanting to interact with me. So I feel safe that we can bring it to the next level and go ahead and work with them, not with protected contact. So meaning not through a fence, but actually working directly with them. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the video this time and bring these two boys in and do some riding with them. So thanks so much everybody for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, 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 please do so that you can be notified whenever we have new training sessions like this. Or also just tell us anything you wanna see. You wanna learn about dog training, cat training, you wanna learn about birds, bearded dragons, anything that you can pretty much think of. Also, I'm gonna be on Great Day, Colorado at 9 o'clock this Friday morning live television for any of you guys that are able to check that out. And otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, fantastic day. Go hug your pets, everybody, and we'll see you right here next time for another episode with Dr. Q.